Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. It's 8:44 on this 27th day of May, 2025. And our interview segment is presented by Marcus & Mack, voted best law firm, best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row, and the best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. And Dr. Raph May joins us once again in studio. Dr. May, how you doing?
Doing well today, Josh. Doing well.
Glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So you actually came in with an idea. You know me. I've always kind of been a person who's very much interested in child mental health.
Right.
So as we continue kind of a look at mental health this month, we want to talk about something that's coming up. I think all the kids are looking forward to it.
Yeah, summer break.
Yeah, summer break. But parents might not be looking forward to it, and maybe after a few weeks, the kids may be saying, "This is not what I signed up for."
Right, and you know, in summer, of course, is a time where we break the routine. We start to have some time to have fun and relax. And you know, I can remember from my own childhood, you know, the riding the bikes with my friends all summer. It was really great, and it is a great time to relax. But we have to remember that structure is very, very important. School provides a lot of structure, not just academic training, but schedule. Regular times for things, regular times for lunch, regular times for waking up in the morning, regular times for doing things. And when that structure is disrupted, it creates a little bit of chaos and anxiety for a while. And sometimes certain kids can have a lot of trouble with it, particularly if you've been used to a particular structure and you start coming home and you have a lot of free time that you didn't have before. One of the things we've learned that particularly the kids that are more vulnerable, who have depression, anxiety, ADHD, maybe on the autism spectrum disorder, that structure of school is very important for their safety, for their sense of continuity and safety. And so when that schedule is disrupted, it creates a lot of anxiety for them. So it's very, very important to recognize that for the kids who are at risk in particular, that if they're in some kind of intervention or treatment, that continues through the summer. A lot of kids get their services in the schools now.
Right, yeah.
Therapy and support services. So that goes away during the summer. So you've got a disruption in that as well. So that can create some additional anxiety and additional stress. During the summertime, I think it's important to recognize too that, you know, parents get stressed as well because now the kids are home. You know, I've got my things I got to do. They're home. They're putting extra demands on me. So the parents can get extra stress. So it's very, very important to remember that you can have structure and still have fun. Right.
Yeah.
You can do both. You can have regular times. I'm a big proponent of regular supper time with the family.
Okay.
Where you have to, you know, you're out and riding your bikes. You're having fun. You're doing a lot of stuff. But when the day ends and it's time for meals, get everybody together, at least for a half an hour, for an hour. Turn the devices off. Sit down and talk about how the day was, what's going on, what are you doing. That's really, really important. I know when I was young, you know, we would go out and we'd be out all day, but we had to be home at supper time.
You had to be home by 6.
You had to be home by 6. You'd have supper. You know, maybe you'd do something that even maybe you wouldn't. But there was that structure that lets you know that I can have a lot of fun, but I've got to do certain things too.
And it's amazing how much even just the simple ritual like having dinner can affect a mental health issue because you can talk about things. You feel comfortable talking about things at the dinner table, maybe even more so than just having a one-on-one conversation.
And it's a time where the parents can actually have some decompression time themselves to sit down and talk with their kids. During the summertime, it's very important to talk with your kids. Like during the school year, sometimes parents will check in with their kids. How did the day go? The school grades, da-da-da.
Yeah.
But during the summertime, it's like somehow that gets lost and you lose that connection time with the kids, which is really important. You've got to check in with them during the summer because a lot of things during the summer that are different, you may get in with a different peer group. You may have different kinds of experiences. So it's important to check in. And we know that some kids are more at risk for getting into trouble during the summer because you have more free time. You have
more free time, and that would result to boredoms in some situations, and that could, I'm not saying it does all the time, it could lead to mischief.
It can, mischief and problems. And so if you stay in connection, make sure you have time to stay in connection. That's really important. There's also something we call the summer scaries, which I think is really interesting.
It sounds like the Sunday scaries.
Yeah, Sunday scaries. It's kind of like the same thing, only in the summertime, which is, you know, relaxed, fun, less structure. But kids can start to worry about next year. Like, what if you're starting junior high? You're starting high. You know, things are going to change. Different teachers, different peer group, you know, different kind of things are going to be expected. And the parents are worried about that change too. So sometimes you get anxious or nervous during the summertime because change is this particularly happens kind of toward July or August, right? When the time comes for change.
When we're seeing all those back to school signs out coming
So it's
around.
really good to sit down and talk about that, plan for it a little bit. How's it going to be different? What are we going to do? And that kind of helps reduce the anxiety to a significant degree.
I would think that some of the orientation programs as well that the schools offer whenever a student goes from, say, elementary to junior high or junior high to senior high, I think that also helps as well because it shows them a sample structure that will be followed once the school day gets underway.
Yeah, and that's really important. I mean, you need to have those kind of planning structures in the middle of your kind of unstructured time to be able to do it. We also want to point out that during the summertime, now this used to be obvious, but get outside and move around, get with your friends face to face.
Yeah, you're talking to a kid who was the first of the video game generation, and even I knew when to go out and play.
That's exactly right, because you get hooked into media and gaming, and you're online all the time. And we knew the COVID pandemic taught us something very important about kids. Mm-hmm. The beginning of the pandemic, I thought, well, these kids got this. We're all being quarantined. We're all being locked down. They've got media. They'll stay connected. They did very badly compared to the adults during COVID.
Yeah, it was a kind of a case of over-connection.
It was over-connection. Well, over-communication, under-connection.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can talk all day on the line, but it's not the same thing as being able to sit down with someone and actually do something that's fun.
So what are some things that can help? You mentioned one of them being routine and outdoor time, getting outdoors. I guess also keeping in contact with friends and family outside of social media.
Absolutely. And this is where, go to the swimming pool, ride bikes,
go
get
on
outside,
a hike,
play games, go on a hike, do something, but get with your friends face to face, meet some new people, do some different things during the summer that you can't do during the school year. So having that social connectedness is very, very important.
Also, I would imagine that if a child is receiving mental health therapy in some form through the school year, you got to make sure that those appointments are kept during the summer months as well.
Got to make sure, because the structure of the therapy, the structure of the counseling can't be disrupted during the summertime. That's a rhythm of recovery and a rhythm of working on things that really needs to be maintained. During the summertime, there was, if a child is receiving medicines for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, for instance, there was this thought that during the summertime, the psychiatrist or the physician would discontinue the medication for the summer because they didn't need to focus as much. Well, sometimes that doesn't work very well because you become so distracted, so disorganized, and you lose your rhythm. Mm-hmm. We talk about kids losing their rhythm during the summertime.
Yeah.
And then it's really hard to ramp back up when school starts.
So the best idea probably would be to maintain that treatment, whatever it is.
Maintain treatment as appropriate, whatever that is, so that it's not so jarring when you have to return to your regular structure. It's really, really important to have fun. Mm-hmm. I mean, we talk about structure, but structure doesn't mean you can't have fun.
No, obviously. I mean, you just structure it out. I mean, you say, okay, you can have like so many hours of TV time and then so many hours of outdoors time. Get back here by 6 for dinner. And if you want to go to a movie or something, you can do that too. One of the things that I thought of that's a major schedule disruption during the summer months, the summer vacation.
Right.
Because that is not only a disruption of the schedule, it's also a disruption of place, a disruption of time in certain circumstances. You're getting up early to leave, or you're just piling into the car and being in the car in that sort of enclosed environment for that length of time. I imagine in some cases that can be anxiety inducing.
Oh, absolutely. And the idea about a vacation is fun.
Yeah.
But, people try to plan a vacation. Well, we got to do this. We got to do that. We got to do this. It looks like this is worse than if you were in school 12 hours a day. You've got so much to do. So vacations are wonderful. See new things, experience new things. But when you're planning these vacations, make it make sense. I mean, it can't be trying to cram too much into a small space.
Yeah, I mean, there is a time and a place to have some things planned, like if you're going to a show or something else. But I think whenever my family was on vacation when I was a kid, we always kind of set to a schedule. Most of the day was on the shoreline, but we would always go inside for lunch at like 11 o'clock or noon, stay in there until about 2, then get out of there. And I think that also kind of helps with the structure of things.
It does.
And then you do something in the evening if you're not too tired.
That's right. And you can have fun as long as it can be planned and still be fun. It doesn't all have to be nuclearly spontaneous all the time, right?
Right. So now we're getting to the end of summer in our little discussion of things, Dr. May. And you said that those back to school scaries are probably, you kids will probably see one sale sign in the store.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, no.
I hated those back to school commercials, and they start like end of July, first part of August. Like, oh no,
yes, yes.
Yeah, right. So,
But you know what? It just seems like it kind of creeps up on us every year too, just like Halloween and Christmas does.
Right.
But again, that can be mitigated through just discussions.
Through discussion and planning, you sit down and you say, okay, let's talk about what this next year is going to be like. What are you worried about? What are you concerned about? What's going to be fun? What's going to be different? What's going to be the same? Just having those conversations and allowing the child or adolescent to talk. Listening is something that's really important. We want to help. We want to tell them what to do. It's going to be okay, But listen to what they're saying to you, because they might be concerned about something totally different than you think they would be worried about.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain expectations that we would think would be going on, but again, as you say, they could pull a swerve on you.
Right, exactly.
All right. So what are some resources that parents can utilize to kind of help out with this process during the summer months?
Well, I think first of all, you can, if your child is having real mental health problems, you need to not be afraid to reach out to professionals for help. Mm-hmm. Here in Indiana, we have, and the mental health crisis line is useful for just, where do I find this or where do I get this? So if you use the mental health crisis line, that can be very effective. I think the other thing to do is simply to tend to your own needs. If you're a parent, you have to make sure that you're okay. I mean, your summers aren't maybe as relaxing
not as relaxed and fun as they used to be.
No. And so you have to remember that you have to take care of yourself. You have to make sure that you take a break, that you decompress, that you do the things that will be good for you to kind of, during this time of unstructured nature for your kids, you have a little bit looser time too as well, so you can decompress.
All right. That is very important. You know what? This has been a very interesting discussion. I think we could go on for a long time on this one, but we are running short.
All right.
But you know what, Dr. May, thank you very much for joining us. This has been great. A lot of great information put out there. I hope people will be able to get a chance to take advantage of that information. And again, if they need help, they can just reach out to the professionals.
That's exactly right, Josh.
Do not be afraid to ask for help.
Do not be afraid to ask for help. No embarrassment in it at all.
All right. Again, thanks, Dr. May, for joining us. Dr. Raph May joining us to talk about some child mental health issues as we approach these summer months. And our interview is presented by Marcus & Mack, voted best law firm, best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online, marcusandmack.com. Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. Coming up in our next half hour, we'll have Eden Zenisek from Indiana Borough joining us at 9:10. And we will also have an interview at 9:47 or so. Susham Modi, immigration expert, will be talking about how some of the immigration